Big Boy's Neighborhood Uncut, man. Today is going to be a different texture of Uncut. You know, we usually come out in this, you know, in the neighborhood. We're the neighborhood, man. My whole career it's just been fun to hang out in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But there's just sometimes when, you know, you have a day where it's not as fun, you know, and you do have a responsibility, even though you feel a certain way personally, where it's like, man, I wish today was just a day that I could just kind of, you know, sit at home and hug my babies and you know
with your loved ones.
and not have, you know, so much energy that's just drawn out of you. But it's not about us, you know what I'm saying? I mean, people today have lost their lives and people lost their loved ones and just friends and, you know, family members. And just when you wake up and you see that there has been another mass shooting, this one took place in Thousand Oaks, California. Borderline bar and grill, popular hangout for locals, you know, and you know, it was college night, country night, people just going out, having a good time, you know.
Over 100 people were there.
Yeah, feeling like you're in a safe environment. Let's go out and do what we've been doing, you know, every Wednesday night. And a shooter came in by the name of Ian David Long, 28 years of age, and things are still being confirmed as we started Uncut, but you know, he's a veteran of the Marines, and they're still trying to, you know, of course there's going to be a lot of pieces that they have to put together as far as if there was a motive, how was he doing, you know, what's going on in his life, his family, you know, but also just, you know, people's lives changed today. Like, I was up very early. I caught it when some of the first breaking news happened, tried to lay down on it, and then it just kind of just had you up all night.
Yeah.
And there was one, you know, and not to single anyone out, but I did see a father by the name of Jason Kaufman, and Jason did an interview on CNN. And so I'm looking at it, and he's talking about his son, Cody, and he's trying to get in touch with his son Cody, and they're out there, you know, it's still dark, and they're asking him when was the last time he talked, and at this point we didn't know anything. So I immediately was like, oh, you know, I want to follow up on this story. So I took a screenshot of it off of CNN. I get in the car, and now I'm watching our local news, KTLA, which I watch every morning. So that I'm on their live TV stream, and I'm looking at this, and Jason Kaufman pops up on there looking for his son Cody. So I'm with my guy Jose, and I'm like, man, I said, this is the dude that we were listening to on CNN. Now he's on, you know, local. Now he's on locally as well. And so he's, you know, looking for his son. So I hailed that one even when we were on air. I was like, you know, that was a kind of a name reference that I went back to. And once we got off air, man, I'm looking up at the TV, and I see that Jason Kaufman is back on television. And I told Natalia, I said, man, it looked like he's aged in these hours.
Yes.
And he, you know, identified his son as one of the 12 victims, you know, which is just horrible. That really, when somebody's saying the twinkling of an eye, your life can change. And that is so true.
I know.
That is
It's
so true, man.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm sure, like, there was a part of him that knew, like, to expect the worst, but I'm sure that there was a part of him that was like, maybe a miracle.
Yeah.
Maybe,
And you hold
never
on to
know.
hope.
Right.
You hold on to hope. You know what I'm saying? And when I was watching it, he was saying that his son's phone was still in the club because he had a tracker on it, and he was able to track it, and, you know, it was still in the club. So as time goes on, you know, you hold on to hope, but things do get where you start to worry even more. So you start to prepare yourself for the, you know, so-called worst case scenario, you know. But we had a lot of great calls that came into the neighborhood today as well. And there is no one and done. I don't know what the cure all is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there was one call that caught my attention. Sorry,
No, go for it.
that caught my attention where they were talking about how to enforce more gun laws, and this is just something that caught my attention. Like, and this caller said that if you were to go purchase a gun at like a federal building or a federal,
like how you
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
you know,
get
like how you
everything
go
at a
get
federal.
everything. Yeah.
I'm not saying that would be the answer, but just off the top of my head, I thought that, like, that's a great idea. Like,
And
you
you know,
know what I mean? Like,
Or like a federal approved.
Yeah, like
spot.
she
Something
said,
like
like
that.
only 2 places where you can go
Yeah.
get them.
Yeah,
They're
like-
handed to you, and there's so many things, man. There's so many things with is it gun laws, and then there's people with, you know, that's my right to bear arms. That's my, you know,
that's
you
true.
can't punish all of us, and then, you know, there's mental issues. There's so many things
many.
that, you know, there's an umbrella that you could say, okay, well, this is it. And then there's so many things under that umbrella that you wonder, like, how do we correct this? You know, we're starting to see it a lot more. We're starting to see it to where you compare them now to, you know, this many, that many, this is how it happened, this many shooters, you know, and they're getting named now so much where, you know, Sandy Hook, Parkland, Vegas.
And it bothers me so much when, I mean, especially after Parkland, that was the one where the students were like, no more. We are going to stand up for our right. We are going to, you know, face our government and tell them we're not going to take this anymore. And you can't keep, you know, not changing laws. And our lives are at stake with it. And so we felt like there was possibly a change coming after Parkland. And then, you know, an election happens and you still see people in Congress, people who are voting on things that are going to affect our lives. And they still can't even pass anything as much as no bumpers that, or, you know, that turn a gun into a semi-automatic weapon. You don't know if that could help. You don't know if it could change. We haven't even tried.
What the value of a life is
right now
compared to what a donation is, or what a, you know, or being, you know, in bed with someone. Like me, I'm a multiple gun owner. And whatever it is that they would say, this is what you have to do to keep your firearm or to get your firearm, I don't mind jumping through the hoops. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind it, and other people shouldn't. And then they say, oh, well, you know, guns end up in the wrong hands, and they do. And I understand that. But a lot of the mass shootings, those guns were in the right hands. Those guns they had paper trails that went back to where they were purchased from. You know, I don't remember it, you know, and I could be wrong, but where it was like a ton of illegal firearms that someone obtained and they went in and did it. And then, you know, we spend so much money on other things, and there's so many things that's the focus, that we don't think, how do we secure our schools?
Right. Yeah.
How do we take care of the Americans that's here? Because, and I understand there's things that's problems, and, you know, there's so many things to deal with. If we're looking at a caravan of immigrants, okay, I can understand we're looking at a caravan of immigrants. And if we're talking about walls and we're talking about citizenship, and there's so many things, and I understand that. But also recognize what's going on here. We're talking about MS-13 and raping women and killing people and bringing drugs in. And then you see, you know, someone firing a firearm over 500 times or something like that in Vegas, killing, you know, 50 people. Yep. And, you know, that is a terrorist, but that's not a terrorist by your definition. You know what I'm saying? When you see someone shoot up a school, that is domestic terrorism, but you don't call it that. You know, every time you see a shooting or something that we feel is terrorist, you know, it's never labeled that. It's never labeled that, you know, and we gotta recognize that if it's a problem, it's a problem all the way around. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to see why certain people are getting guns in their hands. Why are we not using the same tactics or the same dollars or the same focus on what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Like, protect us here too, in here.
And I think one of the discussions that's going to come up from this as well, because the shooter was an ex-Marine, is going to be the topic of PTSD and mental health and helping our veterans get that care. Because you hear so many times of, I'm a veteran, I went overseas, I served, and my government isn't helping me. And there's I can't imagine fighting a war, seeing the things that they see, and coming back and being like, I'm good, I'm cool, I'm fine, nothing's wrong with me.
Or just coming home and being treated like a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? Where you don't have health care, and you know, like there's just some things. And I mean, we got the VA and we got certain things, but there's just, you know, when you go out and you see, you know, talk with somebody that's homeless and get their background.
Definitely.
Get their story.
Yeah.
Read a sign that you try to ignore when you're driving and getting onto a freeway, and see what that sign says. You know,
most likely they served.
They're vets.
I have a friend that enrolled in the service and whatnot, right? And this was like, honestly, he's a Green Beret. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Green Beret.
Before he even went out to serve, like, this was during training. Like, I noticed a change in his.
Just through boot camp?
Just through boot camp. Just through boot camp. And I was just like, oh my God, this is so. I even told him, I'm like, you should not go. Like, you should not go. Like, you are so changed. Like, you don't understand. And then finally, like, when he went, he's like, oh, I'm going to kill these people. It's just like the way he was expressing himself. I was honestly like so like just turned off and just like worried because if he wasn't expressing, if he was already showing signs of change before he went, and then when he actually went, it was even worse. I'm just like, I could only imagine what it's going to be after him coming back after serving. Like, it's really scary and it's really sad. And again, it goes back to what you said, Natalia, like that there's not the proper services for our veterans, and that really, really sucks.
And
you know?
with the actual shooter, I don't know. This isn't scapegoats what we're talking about here, man. We just got microphones in our face, so we're uncut. We're talking from raw emotion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what his story is. I don't write anyone a pass, you know, but I just see that, you know, like this type of shit just sucks, man. It just sucks, man. It just, you know, and today, you know, I have a doctor's appointment. I have meetings, you know, God willing, my kids will come home and we'll be a family. But there's someone else somewhere, and not just because of what we're seeing in Thousand Oaks, but just somewhere, somebody on the freeway, somebody in a foreign land, like their life is going to change today, you know. And locally here, there's so many lives. As we sit here right now, someone's crying near Thousand Oaks, or because of the bar shooting, because of what happened. You know, like what we consider a problem is our problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's somebody like, okay, like Ida got a chemical pill, you know what I'm saying? She's been hiding her face. You know what I'm saying? That's her problem right now. But anyone would take what our problems are right now and say, man, if I could trade you mine,
That's a truth.
you know what I'm saying, for yours, like I would take that trade. They would take that trade. You know, there's some people that and we got to go on with our lives. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but I do want people to understand and just take time out to see that people are hurting, man. You know what I'm saying? That people are really hurting, and there is no. This isn't math where 2 + 2 = 4 and there's a correct answer. I don't know what the answer is. You know, it's definitely going to take time, but I don't even feel like we're even starting the problem to see what this equals to. We haven't even written down the first piece to be solved.
I remember just being in high school. Now that I think about it, because everything is going through my head, but even in high school, when you got somebody who's awkward or what they call weird, and you're like, oh, he's crazy, don't hang out with him, or something, he's crazy. Like, no one ever bothered to be like, yo, man, is there something wrong?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
and see, thank God when I was in high school, I went to people.
Really?
You know what I'm saying?
God. I can see
Thank
that.
God in high school I went to people.
I just remember that just being around me, like, nah, he's crazy, man. Or he's like, you don't know what's going
and you
on.
know, and that's passive. We do that.
Yeah.
We do
It's
that. You know what I'm
crazy,
saying?
man.
Or
Instead of figuring
even
it
now,
out,
you'll see somebody, I'll keep an
him.
eye on him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
There was a
Yeah.
girl that in my high school used to take her lashes out and her eyebrows out, and she would walk around sometimes with just like really different like clothing. Like, she would wear a wedding dress. She would wear like the most random things that you just it's not usual for a high school, you know. So she would stand out and everybody would bully her. Like, everybody would make fun of her because she took her lashes out. And I would talk to her all the time, and it was a normal conversation. Like, I definitely think that there was something going on. She was different, but it wasn't like enough for like people to like be bullying her. You know what I mean? And I'm like, give her a little bit of kindness, a little bit of humanity, instead of calling her weird. Like, she's just different than you are. Like, I thought it was dope. I liked what she wore. Like, I wish I had the guts to walk around and wearing the things that she wore, you know? And definitely she just said that she had a lot of anxiety, and that's why she's like, I've been doing this. I don't know why. She's like, now she was so numb to pulling her lashes that she didn't even notice that she would be doing it. So it was just
Jesus
normal to
Christ,
her.
man.
So
Well, I don't know, man. I'm here.
Love
I'm here.
someone.
I'm trying to survive, man. And it's just, shit just sucks sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit really fucking sucks sometimes, man. And you know, we got to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? We only here for as long as we're here, and we just got to deal with it. You know, I don't know. I'm concerned for my kids. I'm concerned. You know, when I tell people, they say see you tomorrow, I'm like, man, God willing, I really mean that.
You say that.
I really mean
Yeah.
that. You know, God willing, I pray that I see you tomorrow. You know, I sign off on radio and television like that. You know, and I find myself like, people probably don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not supposed to be godly, but But, I do hope that, man. I've been through a lot in my life. You know what I'm saying? And as everyone has. And I've been in a position now where I do value a lot of things even more so, and I value life, not just mine, but I value life, and I'm a dad, man. And I don't know, like, if my mom had made it to 2018, she would have continued to worry about her son, Kurt, and what was going to be in his life. So now that I have my kids, I'm worried about what their next 5 years, 10 years. You know what I'm saying? My son is 11. My daughter's 10. The Cody that got killed was 22. And then other ages, there's 18-year-olds in there, and names are coming out. Like, we don't know how long we have someone, and it just, I'm telling you, man, like, I speak for a living, but I'm at a loss for words. So I'm gonna let it go. You know what I'm saying? I just want everybody to be safe, and everybody just, take care of yourself, and
Definitely.
love your family, love your friends. You know what I'm saying? Call someone. Seriously. And show some compassion, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, just be kind to people. Yeah. Just be kind to people, man. And if you don't value yours as much, man, hopefully you value somebody else's where you don't even want to take theirs. All righty. So y'all enjoy life, man. Right. And God willing, we'll be back and we'll be talking to y'all again. All righty. Big Boys Neighborhood, we uncut, y'all.